More shockingly bad GPU news, and this time it's that prices are going up, and this has been confirmed by an official Asus rep. Let's talk about just how high these prices are, and you guys may be a little bit shocked. Hey guys, Tiago with Classical Technology here. If you like the content, remember to smash that like button. Helps the YouTube algorithm, helps make me happy, and some say it may even help keep some of these GPU prices down, but of course, no guarantee. So, no laughing matter here. Let's talk about these new GPU related developments. We're going to have to deal with much higher prices across the board. So, recently, I kind of had a little bit of a feeling this was going to happen. If you think of it this way, even if there aren't any external factors, the amount of demand is so high, it makes financial sense for these companies selling these products. They're easily selling them at the current MSRP, so of course the next round they're going to raise these prices to take advantage of this insanely high demand. But there definitely are various factors at play here, and of course also, to be fair to all of the different companies producing these products, we have to analyze it from both sides to see what type of external forces are happening here. So yesterday I was taking a look, and in one of the Facebook groups, one of the official Asus reps confirmed that prices across the board for components, not only talking about GPUs here, are going to be going up, and this is happening not only this year, but we should start seeing these higher prices really soon within the next few months. So this is going to count for pretty much almost every component that you have to use to build a PC. We're talking about motherboards and power supplies. Now, of course, our main focus here will be on the GPU. We're going to be a lot more limited to the selection that we have, not only due to it just being smaller than something like motherboards, which there's definitely a lot more variety, but we're also limited by the extreme scarcity because of the high demand. And now it seems like this price increase is definitely not minor. We're not talking about 1 to 2% here. We're talking about a pretty significant increase, maybe 15 to 25% in some cases over the existing MSRP. Now, one of the primary reasons that these companies are giving for this price increase, and remember, there are various reasons that this is happening. First, they're saying that the price increase is going to have to do with tariffs, and now this does make sense to a certain extent because these type of laws are always ongoing between different countries, like for example the United States and China. So this is certainly a factor. And then of course another reason that they give are going to be different logistic issues. Now this makes sense as well. I know the world is definitely going through a very difficult stage, so this surely is something that we can't outright ignore. Even though there's definitely an increase in demand from people staying home, there's also a lot more difficulty on the logistical side and manufacturing. Think of all these factories that usually have hundreds or maybe even thousands of workers dealing with the current world issues. There's going to be a lot more restricted. Some places are even shutting down. So that's definitely a valid concern. I can certainly see how the prices for producing these products, even though they're selling a lot of them, could definitely be increased because of all the new measures that have to take place. So I think those are reasonable external reasons why the prices are going up. I mean, these companies really can't do anything about the tariffs, or they can't do anything about the global issues that we're having right now. So these are things that are definitely going to affect it. Of course, the next main reason that this is likely happening, it's going to be to the extreme amount of demand, and this is coming from two main areas. The first main area is pretty easy to see. A lot of people are staying home. A lot more people are getting into gaming. Thus, a lot more people are buying gaming components, primarily of which being the current GPUs. And having that these GPUs were recently released within the last few months, and they really presented a fantastic price to performance ratio. Let's take the 3080 for example. That launch, of course, was not only very limited, but the demand was also very high. As we saw, not a very good combination for customer satisfaction. That's because at $699, it's performing much better than basically anything else we've had in the past. So people jumped on that. They really thought it was a great deal. So anybody that could get one was able to get one. And this is going to go down, of course, to most of the other GPUs. Even the 3090, which doesn't represent a very good price to performance, pretty much is sold out just as quickly as the other cheaper GPUs. So you can see the amount of demand here is absolutely unsatiable. And here we're talking about regular gamers, regular consumers that are going to go to their local micro center, that are maybe going to go, on Newegg or Amazon and maybe just buy one GPU. So for the regular consumer, there's already a lot of demand there. And look at it from the perspective of the businesses selling these components, especially the GPUs. If Nvidia puts out a $699 3080 and it literally can't stay in stock for more than a few seconds, of course, the first thing they're going to think is, all right, they made a good product, but the price is probably too low because it's selling so quickly. If that GPU was, I don't know, $2,000, a lot more people would hesitate. Maybe scalpers wouldn't be going after it nearly as much. So that makes sense that a lot of these companies are looking at the initial offerings for these GPUs, those MSRPs starting at like $699 for the 3080 and, a little bit more for the third-party cards. And they're thinking we really shouldn't be selling them that low because people are going to buy them anyway, even if they're $800 or $900. It seems like people are willing to pay more for them, especially considering since the price to performance of something like a 3080, you definitely have a little bit more wiggle room here in terms of people's viewpoint of the GPU. Just because the performance is already a great bargain at $699, most people didn't seem to care about paying a little bit more, like $800 or $900. And I think a lot of companies caught on to this, and this is surely going to be a pretty big reason why they feel like they can raise the price without having their sales really drop off at all. I think most of these GPUs are so incredibly sold out at this point and so far from reaching any normal levels of stock availability that these companies feel like they have that space within the price structure to price it more. That way, even though maybe less people are going to buy them now, if the 3080 is going to be considerably more, still enough people will buy them that I think they're going to be sold out anyway. So that's why these companies make these sort of assumptions. They can produce as many as people will buy at this point, and until that changes in terms of the gamers and the enthusiast market, I think we certainly will start to see these prices keep going up and up even after this big change. And whenever the next generation or a new product is announced, something like a 3080 Super or 3080 Ti, you can bet that the MSRP is going to be considerably higher than it would have been otherwise if these GPUs weren't selling as well. And then first, I mentioned the regular gamer and consumer. What's the other big reason these prices are going up? And of course, this has also been in the news lately, and it was pretty much the big news right before this price increase. That's going to be because of the cryptocurrency mining. Now, some people are able to get many GPUs at once. We saw that infamous picture, one guy having 78 3080s. Of course, he's using that for a mining farm. And just the fact that one person was able to get that many GPUs at once, that shows that they're either buying direct or something's going on there, that these GPUs are not being offered directly to gamers. Because if you go to a regular retail channel, they're going to limit you to maybe 1 or 2 items at max. No way anywhere else is going to let you buy 78 at once unless you're dealing directly with one of these companies or something of that nature. So this is certainly going to be a very big issue for GPU stock and availability. And of course, it just so happens that the Nvidia GPUs are the superior mining products, especially the 3080, 3090, 3070, as opposed to something like the AMD GPUs, which typically don't have as good performance for the dollar as the current generation Nvidia GPUs. And of course, that leaves AMD in a pretty tough spot because generally they're maybe around 20 to 30% of the market, and they're not going to be able to keep up with anywhere near the demand for these GPUs. I don't think they're going to be able to manufacture enough to be able to sell directly to gamers. So that's going to leave the market sort of in this hole that it is now. And certainly with all of the cryptocurrencies that GPUs are actually able to be used in order to mine. Remember, not every single cryptocurrency, something like Bitcoin, you really can't mine it directly with GPUs, but there will be some like Ethereum that you can use these Nvidia GPUs to great effect, and that's why they're going to be really sold out. And remember, if a gamer is buying a GPU and the MSRP is more, for that individual gamer, that could make a pretty big difference. That could be a difference from him getting like a new 3080 or a 3070, because the GPU is typically going to be the biggest purchase in your system. So that MSRP increase is definitely going to make a big difference for a gamer. But a miner is going to view this more like a business or a financial investment. If they have to pay more for MSRP, they're basically going to do it as long as it's still profitable, and they're going to buy many GPUs. They don't have the same connection that a gamer or enthusiast like us will have to their GPUs. They do view it a little bit more in like a systematic way, in an efficient way. And of course, at the end of the day, there's still consumers buying the GPU. But I think the reason why a lot of people get a little bit upset over this is that since there's such a huge scarcity for GPUs for gamers that want to use it for regular use, one GPU for one person, they do feel a little bit upset that maybe one miner can get like 78 GPUs at once. So it does seem to be a little bit unfair how it's almost impossible in a lot of cases to get one GPU, while some people seem to be able to get almost almost an endless amount of GPUs. The optics of everything certainly skews it a little bit against the miners, and it definitely puts gamers at a bigger disadvantage. So just how high are these new MSRP prices going? Well, I took a look, and even from Asus's own website, some of these GPUs are definitely getting ridiculously expensive, and this is going to be on both the Nvidia as well as the AMD side. And this isn't really even talking about scalper prices. We're talking about directly MSRP. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to smash that like button and subscribe if you like content like this. If you want to be updated as to what's going on in the GPU world, there's a lot changing. Sometimes it changes from day to day, and a lot of things that can actually impact your ability to build a PC. And I'll see you guys on the next video.